This is a reading for you. It is not attached to a zodiac sign nor a timeline. The intention is, if you come across this reading, it should benefit you in some way. That being said, I've already pulled 3 spreads here that I wanted to start with. I've done 3 Celtic cross spreads with different decks. And I'm going to take you through the narrative I'm seeing with them, and we'll carry on from there. Now, the first thing I want to note is this suggests that you have evolved beyond your past point of being or doing things. You're getting better at what you do, or in developing who you are. You've transcended. You also may see some sudden financial stability come in. I also get the impression that you almost feel like a fool blundering about, like you feel like you don't know what you're doing, which, by the way, nobody knows what they're doing, so don't stress that too much. I feel like you're going through a point of internal alchemy, shifting, trying to get things just right as well, trying to balance the situation. As you navigate your way through these sort of tricky circumstances, I think what you will come to realize is that you are developing very much as a person, that this will be wisdom that follows you throughout your life with the Hermit. And you'll notice in this Hermit card, he's passing the wisdom down to his younger self, or vice versa. Or I would say, this is the pearls of wisdom sort of being collected by the Hermit. I can't remember exactly what the book on this one said, but whatever, that's how I'm going with it right now. You may have gone through a sense of nostalgia or attachment to the past. And I don't know, maybe there's significant lessons in that. I also get the impression of being, this came to me with the first card I drew, the Wheel of Fortune, but I was really being drawn to the symbol in the center. I can't remember the name of that. I know that I've seen it. I can't remember the name of it. But the actual symbol isn't really relevant to the reading. It's more so something about a relationship with symbolism that is maybe changing for you or evolving for you. Maybe you're growing in a deeper understanding with symbolism or even the esoteric. Now, it's almost like it feels like you're almost sort of begrudgingly healing from a situation. I feel like you're being called to rise to a challenge. Even if it's sort of like an in-between understanding, I feel like it's an understanding that you're sticking with for now. And I want to say that I feel like you're sort of at a reset point, maybe career-wise or like financially or something, because it's almost like there's this chapter that's ending and there's one that's sort of coming into fruition that is going to be much more fulfilling and stable if you put in the action, you put in the work, you really defend your place in it, and I think that you will make a choice. Clarify. You may have several options as far as it could be business partners, it could be romantic partners, it could be friendships. There's a lot of people who are sort of, I want to say, coming towards you probably in the future a bit. You may have a lot of choices. And I feel like you're really sort of keeping a lot of your thoughts and your, there's sort of like this internal experience of your own judgment, really sort of taking a look at what you're doing and comfortably sort of moving towards the idea that you can maybe use improvements in some ways. And also, I think you have a lot of strengths here, but of course everyone has room for improvements. And there's maybe some I feel like you're saying things that are upsetting someone, or you're communicating something that is upsetting someone. That, unless you're communicating from a hurt place, but I don't really get that perspective. you sort of came to a clarity and just like went with it. Um, and maybe sort of, I kind of get the impression of maybe in sort of like an insensitive kind of way, or you weren't very conscious of the repercussions of how you spoke or communicated things. And this sort of puts, I mean, I don't think it's too damaging though, because there's sort of a freeze on a communication or on how you view something. On your mind, I think that honestly, money is probably mostly on your mind, or just securing everything. You know, there's a great sense of prioritizing here. So all you know, your main focus seems to be on self-awareness, self-improvement, or development, walking away from that is sort of a lesser nature or that just doesn't serve you anymore. Very high-minded and very goal-oriented, most likely, especially because in your fears and passions, it seems like you hope to uncomplicate things and reach a sudden success or stability of some kind. And I will say that with your strength and your faith, your dedication, there comes, you know, prosperous changes and developments. Now, in the outside influence, we have the Emperor. Clarify the Emperor. I'm getting a very controlling kind of energy in a sense, or some, not really controlling, but someone who wants to feel in control. I think that you might be presented with some options that bring a difficult choice. It could be the beckoning of temptation or opportunity, but there's something about it that's just a touch off for some reason, maybe, or just, you know, there's some moral dilemma or conflict of interest or something like that. I want to say that's not necessarily indicated here in the cards, but that's the feeling I get from it. And, you know, I feel like a lot of the things that you understand also that you might just grow sort of bored with in time, or you might start sort of looking in other directions or engaging in things that are less healthy for you when you're almost like bored or feeling displaced or discontent. So it's almost like if everything is thriving and moving along, you're good to go. But when things feel like they're not adding up or your needs aren't being met, you know, I feel like it's really easy for you to go into a crash mode. Now there's something here. I want to say you might be healing from an ending or something, or like a painful scenario involving a commitment. It's like the outside influence, I don't know, there's like changes there. There might be like sudden judgments. This took a whole other turn. And it definitely leaves you sort of anxious and stuck. Maybe it has to do with that communication, like I was saying, like the opportunity, but just has a sort of something to it. I think that it'll be fine, honestly. I think that this is maybe someone around you. It could be you. It's represented by you, but it's just so contrasting to the energy before that. So maybe it's something that hasn't happened yet. Maybe it's something. I don't think it's anything devastating. It's like something that is said or that comes up that leaves you at this point of needing to make a decision. Um, sort of. I don't know. I kind of get that scenario of the angel and the devil on your shoulders, but it may not be anything like unethical or difficult like that. It could just be a difficult decision to make. By the way, if you're resonating with this, feel free to like and subscribe. I post on here daily, so if you enjoy this, definitely hit the notification bell and all that stuff. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It greatly helps the channel, and I would deeply appreciate it because I put a lot of work into this and I really want it to work. So definitely like and subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. So raising winds, this is about releasing certain things, following a calling, even an intention. I used this example once before, but it's kind of like, I don't know if any of you have seen that movie Moana, but the story Moana, she was like, it's like a Disney movie or a Pixar or something, but she was born into a tribe and was supposed to be the chief of the tribe or whatever, but she was always drawn to the ocean. She always felt like her life's purpose or mission, it was always, she was always going to the ocean. And it's kind of like that, and then she ends up going on this whole adventure on the ocean and all that, right? And it feels like that. It's like something that you're just, it's a part of your soul. And I feel like a lot of these choices and circumstances that you're met with just like fucking drive you nuts, And I don't know, but it all becomes still, because right now it's like your mind is, at least at this point, I feel like this isn't happening right now. I feel like the story is sort of like evolving on for some reason. I don't even normally feel like that about readings, but it's like you're hoping to God you have spiritual assistance here. You're like really hoping for proper direction and that you're not just delusional in some way. And I think that you're right, because not in the sense that I don't think you're delusional. I think that you do have spiritual guidance here, and it's like you're closing certain things out with a pure intent. You're changing things with a pure intention, and it's almost like you gain sort of a deeper awareness because of that, or like things spark off in a bigger way because of that. I also very much get the impression of psychic development and things like that, if that fits for you. Because it's like you go from this sort of like stir crazy, built up tension, like release point, and then it's just like silence, peace, calm. And then it's like you have time to regenerate or heal. But you have to stand firm in the choices you make. You have to really stand by your principles, your direction. No more wavering. The time for back and forth, debate, fear, bullshit, all that stuff, that time is done. So now it's like you've sort of chosen a direction, and now it's time to honor it. Unless something comes up like where, obviously it becomes problematic or something. Of course, life evolves and circumstances change. But right now, it's ideal for you to be centered within what you're doing and know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and be happy with that decision, and sort of just look away from everything that maybe pulls you away from that. Also, like, sensuality seems relevant, sexuality seems relevant, human interaction, like intimacy in its purest way, you know, all that seems very present in all this in some way, or maybe you need that, or it's something about it's very important right now, or at least present. So I'm going to take this a bit further on my Patreon. So if you want to see the extended version of this reading, I always go a little bit further for my Patreon community, where I post not only extended readings, but also just Patreon community exclusive readings. I do live streams and various things like that. So if you're interested in that, that's the first link in the description below. I am available for personal readings. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can access that through my website. I'm also a painter. You can feel free to reach out about artwork or commissions, things like that if you're interested. My portfolio and such is on my website. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and have a great day. Okay, Patreon.